How's it going, everybody? I'm Shawn Adams.
I'm Tony Gaglione.
And this is Smacktalk. It's been a while, but we're back. We've been doing some Las Vegas Legends announcing. Had a lot going on. Glad to be back with you guys. Super Bowl this Sunday. Looking forward to that. Before we get into all that, I want to talk about the EPL. Some things have happened in the English Premier League. The standings as they are. Chelsea's at 52 points, first place. Man City's at 47 points. Now, they play Saturday.
Sure.
Crucial game for Man City. You said earlier you thought this was their last chance, City's last chance.
It's the last chance, I think.
I
think if Chelsea comes away with a victory and carries the 2 points and City gets 0, it's over.
Yeah. Southampton is up there in third place. Tony had them going relegated this year. And they're in Champions League
Thanks
spots.
For bringing that up.
I just wanted to throw you under the bus.
When you lose a guy like Lallana to Liverpool, Lambert to Liverpool, you lose. Luke Shaw to Man U.
Yep.
I mean, guys have stepped up and they've made a difference. What are you gonna do?
Got to pat myself on the back real quick. I said the best signing in the EPL this year was Graziano Pele.
Yeah, it was a good one signing.
That dude's bad. Yeah, and then Manchester United and Arsenal, our teams are only separated by a point. Manchester United currently at fifth or fourth place with 40 points.
So who has more points?
1 point more. That's okay.
Just say it again.
It's okay. I'm not going to say it again. This weekend, though, however, we had the FA Cup, and all the big dogs are out except for Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Liverpool will have a replay.
Did Man U lose?
Manchester, you guys lost to MK Dons.
That was Capital One Cup. FA Cup, we beat Cambridge United.
Oh, no, you guys have a replay against Cambridge.
Replay. That's right.
Replay. So Liverpool and United have a replays. And in fact, tomorrow, Chelsea plays Liverpool in the second leg of the Capital One Cup semi.
That's going to be a good game,
and then
actually.
Tottenham plays their second leg on Wednesday against Sheffield United.
What are the odds of Chelsea getting the trifecta here? Because they're still... No. Well, Bradford City eliminate them. Yeah, that's right.
They could have gone for 4.
So they could still get
3. They could
Champions League. They could still get the EPL title. They could still get FA Cup.
No, Capital One
Cup.
Yeah, but they're not. I'm just telling you right now. They're not going to do it. They have a legit shot at the Capital One Cup. Okay, but I'm not calling the EPL race over, and they're not winning Champions League.
EPL race is over, brother.
No, it's not. It's not happening. Southampton's going to win the title.
Okay. That'll be the day. Okay.
Yeah. So it'll be the first team since Blackburn Rovers in '95, not named Chelsea, Manchester United, Man City, or Arsenal to win the league. if it is, nice. And then that'll be it. If Southampton, I'm just telling you right now, if Southampton wins the league, it's all downhill from there. Look at Blackburn; they never did any success after that point.
They're in
pinnacle and
championship division right now.
Yeah.
So Champions League starts February 17th and February 18th.
Yeah, you got PSG versus Chelsea. That's the only notable game that week. But then the next week, you got the 24th and 25th. You have like Arsenal versus Monaco and the other sets of games. So Champions League's coming up, and I called it. We weren't on the show, but I told you, Chelsea will look really good in November. Everyone's talking about were they going to be undefeated, possible invincibles. Well, that didn't happen. They lost to Newcastle, of all people.
It was only minus 110 on William Hill for Chelsea to go to lose a game.
Yeah,
so that would have been big money.
It just shows you how hard it is to do what the Invincibles did. Yeah. Now, granted, the Invincibles went undefeated in league play. They did lose an FA Cup game,
and they lost cup games, and they drew.
They lost a cup game,
and they drew.
They won the double. They won the Capital One Cup. It was actually the time. It was the Carling Cup at the time.
They drew more than 3 times that season, I believe.
Yeah, they just didn't lose. They drew a bunch.
Yeah, sure.
They won the title, but it just shows you how hard it is. So I knew Chelsea was going to do it, and I even said then that come January, February, when you have the FA Cup, because now we just had the December Boxing Day, the 7 games in 3 weeks, and then you have the FA Cup kicking off, and then Champions League. This is where Chelsea has a great roster, but the depth. It's hard for guys who don't get to play, like Andre Schürrle, Willian, Oscar, these guys that don't play every game. Then when they come in, they don't look as good. Look at what Bradford City. They were up 2-0.
No, you're right.
City and they lost.
You're right 100%. Let me switch over to NCAA basketball real quick.
Okay. We're currently watching Iowa State, Texas, by the way.
Let's talk about because William Hill also had minus 110 for Kentucky not to go undefeated. So, what do you think the odds are on Kentucky going undefeated?
I think they lose game.
19-0.
I think they lose game.
in the tournament?
No.
SEC tournament?
SEC tournament. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they lose.
Not in
a game.
the regular season.
No, not in the regular season. They're gonna lose the SEC tournament game. It's gonna allow somebody else in the SEC to get through. Not say that they get through the tournament, but to get through that tournament championship game, the SEC game, because they won't go.
Sure.
And then that loss will help them in the tournament because that one loss always helps you.
It always helps you. I'm going to go back because I'm a homer. I'm going to go back to 2006. Illinois played Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game, and Illinois was undefeated. Illinois ended up going to the national championship game that year.
And then losing in North Carolina.
They lost to North Carolina. Yeah, rub that in for me, why don't you? The number 2 team is undefeated too, 19-0, Virginia Cavaliers.
Now, I think they have a legitimate shot of going undefeated because the ACC this year it's not as good. Now, Duke is a tough team, but it's not. I mean, Duke showed that they had that little 2-game losing streak. It's a little.
They lost against teams that
Boston College isn't as good anymore. Maryland's gone to the Big Ten, who's doing well.
Maryland's gone to the Big Ten. Duke lost against NC State. NC State is really not that good of a team.
No.
However, they've upset 2 top 10 teams, I believe, this season.
Yeah, NC State has. Yes.
Number 3 pisses me off beyond belief because I hate when mid-majors are ranked in the top 10. Gonzaga. When you
I hate getting Steve messages from Steve or text messages from Steve.
I'm telling you, man.
I hear Steve messages.
Yeah, Dragolinski over there.
And like 2 in the morning.
2 in the morning.
Zags at 3. Zags ranked 3, top 5. Watch the next morning. As soon as it comes out, he texts me.
Terrible. They beat teams like Pacific, St. Mary's.
Hey, don't hate on UOP, man.
The Pepperdine Waves.
I graduated in their stadium.
Come on, dude. I watched the Pepperdine game playing in Malibu or whatever.
Waves, baby.
Playing in Malibu. It looked like a high school stadium.
It is a high school stadium.
Oh, it was horrible.
Yeah, not only that, the thing, my problem with the Zags, and granted, Zags have a solid squad. They play in a conference where the only other team is St. Mary's, and St. Mary's is not that good of a team.
No, they're not. They're never ranked in the top 25, and when they are and they make the tournament, they're out in the first round.
They lose to Wisconsin,
whatever.
Yeah.
There's like the bet we had the other year that Gonzaga wouldn't make it out of the second round when they were a number 1 seed. Yeah. They didn't. They lost to Wichita State.
We both won $100.
That was beautiful. Number 4 is Duke.
I'd be willing to make that bet again. I'd be willing to make that same bet on live.
I'd be willing,
Steve, if you're watching, I'd be willing to bet you that Gonzaga doesn't make it out of the second round. Again, do you know why? Because when they pick that bracket, they purposely put teams that they don't like in tough roads. They give the Dukes the easy way through.
They're not going to. I mean, Gonzaga's going to be a number 1 seed if they keep up the way they're playing now, obviously.
You still got to talk about, Duke's up there. Duke could take a number 1 seed. Wisconsin, Villanova, and Arizona all have legitimate shots at getting a number 1 seed because the Zags RPI is going to be low. They don't play tough teams. And you got Wisconsin plays in the Big Ten, Maryland, Indiana. You got the other schools like Villanova, they play tougher schedules. Their RPI is going to go higher. Notre Dame.
Yeah, Notre Dame is in the ACC now for basketball only.
Yeah.
Well, for every sport besides football, I believe now. Wisconsin, Frank Kaminsky leading the team. He's amazing.
Yeah.
He's averaging over like 25 points per game right now. Villanova destroying people.
Guard play. That's that guard play.
Arizona, you can't hate on the Wildcats ever.
Especially when the Cats get into the tournament because they have that history of dominating in the tournament. In other NCAA news, Coach 1K.
Yeah.
We got to call him now. Coach Mike Krzyzewski. Yeah, it starts with the K. Coach K, the USA men's national team coach, got his 1,000th victory against St. John's.
It rallied from 10 points back to win the game at the end.
St. John's is actually a solid school.
No, yeah, they are.
They play in, what's that, the real Big East?
I have no idea.
Remember the Big East separated? Yes, they're because they're a Catholic school. And they're
a lot to do with that, dude, is Steve Lavin. The head coach came from UCLA. They fired him at UCLA, which I thought was a mistake at the time. Obviously, it's proving out to be a mistake because he takes a St. John's team that was basically nothing.
Yeah, that was when we had the Big East with Pitt and everybody, Villanova, all in there.
And he brings them into relevance.
Yeah.
So
they play at the Garden.
No, they play somewhere else. They don't play the Garden. Just wrote an article about it.
Oh, okay. That's St. Joe's.
St. Joe's
plays at the Garden. I'm sorry, St. John's, St. Joe's, St. Paul, St. Peter. How come we don't have a St. Paul or St. Peter school?
We have a DePaul.
I know, but how come we don't
have
in
Illinois,
a St. Peter's or a St. Paul's basketball team? I don't get it.
NHL real quick.
Got to write the diocese.
Very quickly, NHL, because it's the All-Star break. The All-Star game sucked. The skills competition was interesting.
17-12.
Yeah, well.
That was the final score in a hockey game.
Nobody's hitting anybody.
Nobody did anything. It was almost as bad as the NFL Pro Bowl.
It was really funny, though. At the end of the game, third period, Jonathan Taves was double shifting. So he was on the first line, and he was on the third line. Then he was on the second line, then he was on the fourth line. And Patrick Kane came up to him, and he's like, dude, let somebody else play. Like, what are you doing right now?
Yeah, he's the captain.
It's ridiculous. So anyway, in the Eastern Conference, the Lightning sit in first place, 64 points. Tied for second in the Islanders and the Detroit Red Wings. I hate that Detroit's in the Eastern Conference right now.
Yeah.
But they're both
Penguins
at 63.
Penguins up there. They got 60 points.
Mm-hmm.
But that's your top three. In the West, the Ducks are in first place, although they've played 2 more games than the Predators.
Mm-hmm.
Predators are in second with 65 points. So if you give Predators 2 more points or 4 more points, 2 more wins, they would be at 69. That's if they won those games. And then the Hawks and the Blues are tied at 62 points. And the Jets, the Atlanta Thrashers, 60 points. They're look on place. Dustin Byfuglien. They're going to make the playoffs. Looks like it. I mean, it's pretty hard for them to not make the playoffs.
Nick Antropov still, I believe. They got Andrew Ladd, who's the captain. He used to play. Dustin Byfuglien and Andrew Ladd and Michael Frolik all played on the Chicago Blackhawks when they won the Stanley Cup.
Yep.
So now they're on the Jets, and they're doing well, obviously. It happens that way when you have all-star players that are playing second and third line. You can't afford them after you win. Like the Marlins know that.
Speaking of all-stars and all-star games, Klay Thompson is not in the All-Star game, the NBA All-Star game, and this man just broke an NCAA record, NBA record, not NCAA. 37 points in the third quarter. He was lights out.
13 for 13, 9 from 9 from the three-point line.
Okay, I'm going to say something to all my Northern Cali folks. None of y'all were Golden State Warrior fans when we were growing up. None of you.
I've been a Warrior fan for like 5-6 years now.
Yeah. Look, they were all Bulls fans. They were all Pacers fans. They were all Suns fans. They were all Rockets fans. I'm talking about the teams that dominated in the 90s. None of them were Golden State Warrior fans. I've been a Kings fan since I was a kid. The Kings they're not as bad now as they suck, but they're not as bad now as they've been.
Got DeMarcus Cousins, Darren Collison.
They're all right. Okay, they'll just fire their coach. That's what they'll do. When they don't do good next year, they'll fire the coach. But I hate seeing all these people post on my Facebook and my Instagram how they're Warriors fans. Like, I know 2 people.
Oh.
One of them was a Warriors girl. Shout out to Kelsey Nagy and Erica Silva. Those are the only 2 people I can remember that were Warriors fans when they were garbage.
The time that I started watching the Warriors is when they drafted Steph Curry, because I watched him at Davidson and I knew he was freaking good.
Yeah.
He was a lights out shooter in college, and he's a lights out shooter in the NBA. That's when I started watching the Warriors. I have to say, I would root for them behind the Bulls. That's my number 1 team, obviously.
Okay. Yeah, obviously. Now, the Warriors are doing good. Okay, so
best record in the NBA.
Yeah, they got the Atlanta Hawks. They both have won 16. Atlanta Hawks are on 16-game win streak right now. Golden State already had a 16-game win streak throughout this year.
Yep.
So yeah, and then Kobe's out for the year, right?
Yeah, out for the year with a shoulder injury. Not that the Lakers had a chance to do anything. They already lost Julius Randle.
Swaggy Pete.
They already lost Steve Nash with his back injury.
And then Nash is in a retirement home
now
already, man.
Freaking Kobe's out. Kobe's going to come back next year to the Lakers, he says, but you never know what's going to happen.
You never know, yeah.
Why the hell would you want to go out on one of the worst teams in the NBA to finish your career? I don't understand that. You would want to go to a contender just to win another title, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
the problem is the money.
He's got his
demand.
The money. Who cares about the money now? He's got all the money in the world.
No, I'm saying the money that he'll want. Like he's not going to take a veteran's minimum.
No, not at all.
He's not a Ray Allen or a Karl Malone.
No, but he's definitely still one of the best players in the NBA.
Here's what I would say: if you're smart and you're watching the show, Miami Heat, go play with Dwayne Wade.
Screw that.
Go play with Dwayne Wade. No, I know he could go for other teams, but I'm saying if you're going to go out with Dwayne Wade. Go with a guy that when you need minutes on the bench, there's a guy that can step in your place and take the 2 roles. They could, you know what I mean?
I think there's only 2 spots for Kobe, and
Cleveland Cavaliers.
No, I don't think so. I think it's Oklahoma City Thunder.
No.
And the Chicago Bulls.
Kevin Durant's going to Washington D.C. He's going to play with John Wall. Just watch.
That would be nice to see. He's going home. You never know.
Going home. That's right.
I think Kobe would do well in Oklahoma City or Chicago, because Chicago doesn't have that guard, especially if they're going to have Jimmy Butler. At the end of the year, they're going to have to offer him a max contract or let him go.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And he's having an all-star year, so he needs a max contract or he's gone.
Yeah, what can you do? All right, so let's move on to the matter at hand. That is Super Bowl Sunday.
I'm tired of talking about football.
Super Bowl Sunday. Okay, we've got Super Bowl 49. Is it 49?
Super Bowl, who cares?
It's the Seattle Seahawks have returned, looking for back-to-back championships. Hard thing to do. Last people do it are the Patriots. Patriots versus the Seahawks. The biggest issue is Deflategate. Now, I don't want to talk about this much because everyone else is talking about it, but I'm going to bring up some things, and I'm just going to lay out the facts, okay? I don't care who they're investigating, some locker room kid or some staff member of the Patriots. The head coach knows everything that goes on before, after, and during a football game. That's why he gets paid to be the head coach. So let me just interject really quick. Not to mention it's Bill Belichick. It's Bill Belichick. He's a control freak.
If it was somebody else, then maybe.
Yeah, if it was Rex Ryan, we could give him that excuse, right? Because he's not all there.
It's Belichick, though. He knows
everything. He's under control of everything. So here's the thing. The balls are weighed by the refs 2 hours before the game. So in between that time and the end of the second quarter, before the first half, when the ball was brought to the attention, one of the deflated balls was brought to the attention of the sideline via a Colts staff member who took the intercepted ball that they had just picked off, a Patriots ball, and brought, so that whole thing. The balls were deflated. Okay, balls don't lose pressure. 1 ball could lose its pressure if it's got a messed up stem.
Oh yeah.
But 11 out of 12 balls don't go deflated to the same air pressure, because that's the thing. All the balls were deflated to the same air pressure. Okay, Tony knows this from playing popcorn football, playing football outside. You could throw a football that's deflated. Now, here's the thing, and I don't want to hear from Patriots fans, because Patriots fans are like, we scored 3 touchdowns in the third quarter after they got regular balls. We played better. It's not an advantage. Okay, what about the Ravens game? What about previous home games? Because it wasn't brought to their attention.
How about every freaking game? It doesn't have to be a home game. They use their own balls in every game. Every game. So I'm thinking, this goes back to when Tom Brady started to me, honestly. Maybe Drew Bledsoe used to do this, and he showed Brady. Yeah, and then Brady's like, hey, you know what? I do that. So you know what? When he came in the Super Bowl... Maybe it was after
the tuck roll. Bledsoe's like, hey, if you deflate the ball a little bit, you can hold on to it a little bit better. You never know.
It's ridiculous.
And here's the thing.
It's like Barry Bonds with his home runs.
Yeah, once a cheater, always a cheater.
That's right.
Hey, A-Rod, once a cheater, always a cheater. Here's the thing.
Crap that keeps people out of the Hall of Fame, and I really think that the NFL is going to screw this up, as they usually screw up everything with the Ray Rice and the Adrian Peterson thing. They're going to screw this up, and they might give a fine or two, but what should happen is a ban from playoff play. Doesn't matter what your record is. You're not in the playoffs.
I was in favor when this first came out. Monday morning at work, guys were asking me my opinion. Here's what I said. I said, they do like FIFA does. Oh, you fielded an ineligible player? Oh, you didn't turn in his paperwork? That sucks that you won 7-0 NK Moribor versus Celtic. You're disqualified. Now Celtic goes through to the next round.
Yeah, I remember that against the Austrian team.
The Austrian team, yeah. And even though Celtic lost 7-0, they got their butts whooped.
And that was actually a big deal at the time, because that was the qualifying match for Champions League.
And Celtic got to go through. But that's the rules. You violated the rules during the game.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because now the Patriots are still going to be the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but it should be the Colts. Should be the Colts on the Super Bowl. Just on the fact that here's the thing. Patriots fans are like, oh, they want to make it seem like, oh, I support my team no matter what. Your team is cheating. Your team cheated in a Super Bowl. You videotaped the St. Louis Rams practice the week of Super Bowl, and then you beat them in probably one of the best games a Super Bowl's ever seen.
Oh, yeah, sure.
But then you get caught cheating. Spygate, right? Then you send a defensive assistant to the stadium to use binoculars to spy on Rex Ryan's defensive coordinator to look at his play sheet. Now people say, oh, I don't know about you, but I couldn't read a play sheet. If you got binoculars, I got a telescope. I can show you the asteroid that's coming by, okay? If you got a good enough binoculars and it's the NFL, they got the best kind. They're reading the play sheet.
Yeah.
They got caught. Yeah. They got caught for it. And they're not the only people to get caught.
That's what pisses me off. It's the second time now.
This is the third strike.
Okay, so it's the third strike. So 3 strikes, you're out, number one. Number two, when the Saints had this whole Bountygate thing, nothing was ever proven.
No.
And still Sean Payton was suspended for an entire year.
That's right.
And some other players were suspended too. But the point of the matter is that if it's New England Patriots, no, it's just going to be a little slap on the wrist.
Yeah, just like the tuck rule. Just like the tuck rule. Just make up new rules.
It's horrifying to me. The NFL was, in my eyes, has taken over in the last 10 years. That is America's national pastime now. It is not baseball anymore.
No.
Guess what? This fucked it up. Okay? This fucked it up.
It did.
Because when you ruin the integrity of a game, like baseball did with steroids.
Well, integrity of the game. Well, let's go over the events of the past year. You've got a botched Ray Rice disciplinary scandal, because that's all it is. He should have gotten in trouble, but they screwed it up. They lost. He won. Ray Rice won. Okay, he's getting paid by the Ravens, and he's
sit on his ass,
and he's going to sit somewhere else. Then they botched the Adrian Peterson thing because Adrian Peterson did something wrong. He reduced it to the criminal level to a misdemeanor. He did something wrong, and they basically said, sorry, even though one of our office members called you and said your 2-game suspension would count. Oh no, they changed the rules. Okay, they do all that. And prior to this year, no, I'm not even getting into Deflategate. Prior to this year, the players, when the last CBA went through, they were mad that Goodell is the judge, jury, and executioner. Right? So they're like, oh, we'll appoint a third-party arbitrator. These arbitrators are guys that used to work for the NFL. So it's ridiculous.
That's the same thing with the Dolphins scandal with Incognito.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. They have actually the same investigator from the Dolphins thing, investigating this stupid-ass Deflategate right now.
Yeah, so, and the thing is, it's going to be some kid that gets paid probably $400 a game to watch the balls. He's going to be the scapegoat when it's not going to fall on
Belichick or Tom Brady for telling him to do it.
You know what? I don't even go. I blame Tom Brady because he's the quarterback, but I don't give him any responsibility because that's the head coach.
And let me tell you what the worst thing they did is come out in the media and have a press conference on SportsCenter on ESPN and say, well, I hold all the balls and I know what every ball feels like. He contradicted himself about 80 times during that thing. Belichick comes out yesterday or the day before and he says the pressure inflated or increased, the PSI increased. The ball doesn't increase ever.
It's called Boyle's Law. Temperature and pressure relating to a gas. It doesn't happen on its own.
YouTube this. Deflategate, Bill Nye. If you go on YouTube, Bill Nye, the science guy,
Bill Nye, he's a pimp. He's a pimp.
He knows what the hell he's talking about, too. He will prove it's not physically possible for the ball to increase in PSI
unless you heated up the temperature. But it's cold.
There's no temperature heated.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. I know Boyle's Law, temperature and pressure. I'm saying in order for PSI to increase, the temperature would have to increase. They're playing in New England. We're not talking about playing on the surface of the sun.
Even if you're at altitude in Denver, it doesn't matter.
No, you're not. It's not. It takes a severe increase in temperature to raise the pressure.
You would have to hold a lighter under the ball,
and it would blow up. It would pop.
You would melt it before it increased.
But here's the thing: is Patriots fans. This is what bothers me. Patriots fans are like, oh, we played better in the third quarter with a regular ball. Like, no, you didn't. That's called adjustments. Yeah. Bill Belichick is the master at making adjustments.
Yeah, he made adjustments, but at the same time, too,
you're
playing a Colts team that just got destroyed in the first half, so their entire freaking defense they were just morally broken already.
Yeah.
And
it's deflating.
How many no pun intended. All right. So how many times have you caught a ball that is fully inflated in, let's say, -degree weather? Because I've done it. It sucks.
Yeah, it hurts.
It sucks.
You know how easy it is to catch a deflated ball in -degree weather?
I can do it with one hand.
It's a lot better.
I can do it with one hand.
Yep. You know what? Here's the thing. I wish Megatron or like Odell Beckham or Brandon Marshall was in that game. You know why? Because they would have caught a deflated ball and popped it with their grips. They'd have been like snap in the air, and then we would have had a problem.
Speaking of why the NFL is not America's pastime anymore, it's because you got players like Josh Gordon.
Oh, getting high.
Josh Gordon, dude.
This guy, hold on. This guy,
the biggest waste of talent in the history of the NFL.
He got kicked out of Baylor for smoking pot. He goes to the draft. He fails a draft drug test. He serves a 4-game suspension. He comes back and he leads the league in receiving. The Browns look like one of the best teams in the second half of the year that year.
All he had to do was put down
with
the pipe.
Brandon Weeden. But he couldn't put down the pipe in the offseason, so he gets suspended for a year. But then with the whole disciplinary thing, they get the new
because Roger Goodell's a moron.
Yeah, they get a new policy, which included the Ray Rice thing, and it reduced his suspension from 1 year to 10 games. So he comes back after 10 games, right? So he missed 10 paychecks. 10 paychecks. He comes back. He didn't look that great because he missed OTAs, missed offseason, all that stuff, right? So he doesn't look that great. What does he do? He fails another drug test.
Genius.
Either this man has the best marijuana ever in the existence of the planet, or he's just an idiot. And I've smoked some good weed in my lifetime, so I'm just saying he's an idiot. Because if you told me, Shawn, if you smoke one more time, I'm not paying you millions of dollars, guess what?
It's not like he got paid $1 million. He was at the league minimum as a rookie. But when you lead the league in receptions,
what are we talking about? If
you lead the league in receptions, you will get a max contract when your rookie contract is over.
Yeah. Now he's not going to get jacked.
So shut up.
Yeah. He's Santonio Holmes in it.
Yeah. Put the gun down, Plexico. Damn, dude.
Safety is off.
Unbelievable.
Okay, so in the NFL,
if someone said, Tony, you got to stop drinking beer and you can write sports for $50,000 a year, $50,000.
You'd be drinking and writing sports.
Bullshit. I would turn this bottle over in a heartbeat.
No, you wouldn't. Don't lie. I'd be drinking with you. You'd be buying all the beer. Marshawn Lynch. Here's the worst part about this. And I watched the Pro Bowl, and Sherman said something about this. The NFL they're gonna take the attention off of Tom Brady and the Deflategate, because they've told Marshawn Lynch it's gonna be a 15-yard penalty if you adjust your junk during the game. Because Marshawn Lynch
for celebration.
It doesn't matter.
After a run or whatever.
His junk is misplaced after jumping around.
If it's hanging down to your knee, homie, you gotta fix it.
You gotta fix it, right? When your balls are as big as a sperm whale's and you run around the field, you gotta, especially after celebrating, one might get you don't want to get pinched in the thigh.
No.
So all right, so that's what he does, right? He's even been caught doing it when other players are scoring touchdowns. He's on the sideline grabbing his junk. So they're gonna give him a 15-yard penalty. What I want to know is who's been given the job to watch Marshawn Lynch's junk during the game?
I don't know. Whoever it is, Marshawn Lynch should just hit him over the head with that hammer and knock him out.
He's all third.
Yeah. Dude, let's get into predictions for this game.
Okay, hold on. What I want to say is about Marshawn Lynch. Not only that, he was told he couldn't wear in the championship game. He's told he couldn't wear his gold cleats, 24-karat cleats. That's ridiculous, man. That's his cleats, man. How are you gonna tell him he's got to wear team colors?
I don't understand that.
He's about to get paid. That's why he's wearing gold.
Wait. Before we get into the prediction, let's go over the coaches. Coaches.
All right. So there's a bunch of firings and whatnot. The biggest one is that the Broncos, they lost their head coach, their offensive coordinator, and their defensive coordinator, all in the same season.
And their quarterback coach.
So basically, if you go to the Broncos facility right now, you got players training themselves because there's nobody in the offices.
Except for Kubiak.
And, John Elway. John Elway's in there lighting it up with Josh Gordon. Talking about that minimum contract. Okay, so Kubiak is now the coach. He left the Ravens. Okay.
Mark Trestman took his job.
Mark Trestman. Oh, that's a mistake. I feel bad for...
Joe Flacco's in trouble.
Yeah.
I can tell you that firsthand, being a Chicago fan and all.
John Fox went from the Broncos to the Bears. Now, that's a good hire.
I think it's a great hire. It's the first time that the Bears have hired a coach with head coaching experience since the 1950s.
Yeah, it's good. It's good for them. He's going to do good. He's a good coach. He's at Carolina. Look at his record in Carolina, right?
Went to a Super Bowl. Went to a Super Bowl.
Right? So, he's good. He's good to go. Good coach. Arizona defensive coordinator Todd Bowles was hired by the Jets.
I think it's a great hire.
The Jets fired Rex Ryan, or mutually parted ways. Rex Ryan went to the Bills, who you talk about biggest NFL blunder ever. Doug Marrone said, you know what? I have this contract clause that says if ownership hand changes, I have a 3-month period to vacate my contract. So I'm going to do that. I'm a 9-7 team. I'm going to do that. I'm going to go get a head coaching job somewhere else. Sorry, dude. You're not a head coach.
No, you're not a head coach. You know what? He left a good place. The Bills right now is attractive to head coaches.
Well, it's attractive to Rex Ryan.
The only thing they're missing is a solid starting quarterback because Kyle Orton, Jesus Lord, Kyle Orton was a solid quarterback last year. He retired.
Not only that, Rex Ryan inherits a defense with Mario Williams.
Yeah, you don't think he's going to make that work?
Oh, yeah, top 10 defense. And he's going to make them a lot better. Not only that, CJ Spiller's a unrestricted free agent or restricted free agent. They've got Fred Jackson who's old. They're going to have to do something about running back position. But Rex Ryan has like the same stuff he got when he inherited the Jets job, except the defensive pieces are already in place.
Yeah.
Where he had to go get those guys like Bart Scott and all those guys.
Anybody's still got
Jim
the
Leonard.
same issue. He's
no
got
quarterback.
A whack quarterback.
Yeah. Well,
EJ Manuel sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, he does. He was drafted by a different coach. That's the thing too. So watch Rex Ryan. Maybe not this year, but next year go
No,
out and
Rex.
draft his
Yeah,
his
Rex
coach.
Ryan wants a pocket quarterback, not a running quarterback. That's his style of play. Todd Bowles, I like that hire in the Jets. The Jets have a decent defense right now.
Yeah, but Arizona had no defense.
Arizona had nothing anywhere
and then he
besides Larry
brought them in
Fitzgerald.
the last 2 years to have one of the best defenses in the NFL.
When you look at defensive coordinators that go and become head coaches, you look at Lovie Smith from St. Louis, took the team to a Super Bowl.
Tomlin
You look at Mike Tomlin,
Minnesota,
took the team to a Super Bowl.
That's right.
You look at even Ron Rivera was the coach or the defense coordinator when Lovie Smith took the Bears to the Super Bowl. Now Ron Rivera is coach of the Panthers, and he does a lot with nothing.
First team ever to win back-to-back NFC South titles.
And he does a lot with nothing because Cam Newton is not an all-star quarterback.
That's correct. Okay, Jack Del Rio was a Broncos defensive coordinator. He's now head coach of the Raiders. That's a good hire by the Raiders because now the Raiders actually have a coach that won't take crap. He'll walk out. You look at what he did in Jacksonville. He'll walk out if the ownership disagrees with how he wants to run the team.
Yeah, and
he's a Hayward, California native. So
you know what I like about Jack Del Rio is that no one ever seen him as a coach with a quarterback. Now he has a quarterback.
That's right. He has a quarterback who has the tools to be
and
a
he
good
can develop to be in my eyes, this guy could be a Pro Bowler.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at he won more games than Peyton Manning did his rookie season.
Oh, there you go.
Atlanta hasn't hired a head coach yet, but they basically told everybody that Dan Quinn, Seattle defensive coordinator, is their guy. So they'll wait until after the Super Bowl, and then he'll be announced. Don't be surprised there. San Francisco makes the weirdest decision. Okay, Jim Harbaugh left to Michigan, but then they take Tom Sula, who was the interim coach before Harbaugh got hired, when Singletary got fired, and he was the defensive coordinator under Harbaugh, and he's been hired. He hires Eric Mangini, a guy with head coaching experience, to be his defensive coordinator. So here's what's going to happen to the San Francisco 49ers, Niners fans. I hate to tell you this. Tom Sula's going to be fired. Okay, Mangini's going to be interim head coach. That's just what's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, you could see that from about a mile away.
Mm-hmm. As soon as he hired Eric Mangini, I'm like, Eric Mangini, head coach of San Francisco 49ers. And he's a good coach. He's a Belichick guy.
And they got a great defense, and he's a defensive guy.
He's a defensive guy. That's right. The only thing I'm sad to announce as a Steeler fan is that Dick LeBeau is not going to be our defensive coordinator. But there are Pittsburgh Steelers fans who are upset at that because we basically did what we did to Bruce Arians and said, hey, we're not going to give you another contract. So Dick LeBeau will be a coach somewhere else or an assistant somewhere else to do whatever, take a year off the game. Here's the thing. Keith Butler
was our
linebacker. He's old. He's a Hall of Famer due to his playing career.
Yeah.
His coaching career.
He should just hang it up.
He coached the Cincinnati Bengals. He invented the zone blitz scheme to stop Bill Walsh's West Coast offense.
It didn't work.
It didn't work in the 80s, but as the head coach or defensive coordinator of the Steelers against Mike Holmgren's West Coast offense,
that was a little different.
Worked.
I'm just saying. Didn't work in the Super Bowl twice.
Well, it won for two. But then again, the Bengals, you're taking Bill Walsh had years to perfect that system. LeBeau basically made that on the fly because the West Coast offense.
This could be an argument for hours.
Anyways, so Keith Butler is the linebackers coach. He was being head coaching candidate. The last 3 years, this guy's name was coming up in circles, and his contract was running out.
Yeah.
So rather than let a good coach walk away and become a head coach somewhere else, they decided to say, hey, dude, you're old. You leave. We're going to give the guy that deserves the shot at DC.
I think that they should have let him go too. And honestly, they should have let him go too and bring in a homegrown guy like James Harrison, defensive coordinator. Joey Porter even.
Coach.
Yeah, I mean.
He's going to be linebackers coach, by the way, Joey Porter.
It's going to be, I mean, if you do that, then you save money, number one, which is a big deal because Roethlisberger's contract and Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
Mike Wallace is gone.
Yep.
I'm a moron.
Right. They've got their money situation fixed. Troy Polamalu, Ike Taylor are not going to be on the team next year. Nor will Brett Kiesel. A lot of these old players, because if you look at the last 4 games of the regular season with all the young players, Cameron Hayward, Stephen Tuitt, Antoine Blake,
Timmons,
Brian McBride, Timmons. All these guys stepped up. Their defense played better with these guys on the field than with Polamalu's and the Taylors and stuff like that.
Yeah, and Polamalu was there. He just got hurt last year, so that it left the door open. That's all it did.
Polamalu started that game against Ravens. We lost.
There you go.
Polamalu's career, he had a great career, but
it's over.
His body's too banged up, and his voice is a little bit too high pitched. So
his hair's a little bit too long.
His hair's a little too long. Okay, so let's move on to Super Bowl predictions.
Real quick predictions, because we're running over time here.
Okay, you go first because I got it. I predicted it right last year, and I'm gonna call it again. So
okay. well, I'm probably going to go with the same thing that you're going to say because we're both high in the Seattle Seahawks defense. Seattle goes into this game and beats the shit out of New England by at least 21 points.
I like where Tony's headed. I'm going to say this will be the first time that the Patriots are held scoreless
Oh, wow.
in a Super Bowl. And the final
I don't
score
believe that.
is going to be 52-0.
You're smoking crack.
The defense gets 3 pick sixes.
Okay.
I'm calling it. Tom Brady is going to be humiliated. Not only that, but because of Deflategate, all the penalties are going to be on the Patriots.
You know what I would love to see? About 10 drops from the Patriots wide receivers. Or Tom Brady overthrow the shit out of somebody like 10 times.
What happens if Tom Brady steps back in the end zone in the first play of the game?
Comes out of his hand?
No, just like he did against the Giants. First play of the game, just intentional grounding from the back of the end zone like he did against the Giants. Because the Patriots are 0-2 in Glendale, Arizona Super Bowls. Super Bowls in Glendale, Arizona.
Okay. Top 5 players that can make an impact that are not star players in this Super Bowl.
My number 5 is Shane Vereen. Screens and dump-off plays. That can change a game.
Guess what? My number 5 is basically the same player.
Danny Amendola.
Danny
The
Amendola.
only other guy that gets the screens.
The only other guy that gets the screens and a slot receiver.
Yep. Okay. I like that.
Number 4.
My number 4 is the Seattle tight end Wilson.
Luke Wilson.
That's
my number 4.
Because everyone's talking about Gronkowski, but we were talking about outlet receiver. This guy's got great hands.
Yep.
He's a great blocker. You don't be surprised when this guy has 2 TDs early in the game.
You're damn right, because it's the only person nobody's giving a shit about.
That's right.
So
you want to make a bet, just so you know, the first player to score a first touchdown, Luke Wilson.
That's a good one.
It's like 20-1, just so you know. Put
That's
$20 on it, $400.
That's a good one.
Number 3. Who's your number 3?
The ball guy for the New England Patriots.
Yes, I like that pick. Yeah, he's the most important player on the team.
If he deflates the balls, the Patriots will win.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of anybody else.
My number 3 is the Patriots' defensive line and offensive line as a whole, because they are going to be responsible for setting the tone against one of the league's best rushing attacks and against one of the league's best defenses.
Yeah, and
so
not
if they
to mention,
get bowled over, the game's over.
Not to mention, they're going to have to keep Russell Wilson in the pocket.
That's right.
They can't let him get outside the pocket, because once he gets out of the pocket, the game's over.
So here's the thing. If the Patriots' defensive offensive line set the tone, Patriots have a chance to win the game. But they have to set the tone early and often. Number 2, I'm going with Julian Edelman.
Okay.
Julian Edelman, because he has the ability to be what Wes Welker wasn't in the previous Super Bowl. Because if Wes Welker didn't drop those balls in the previous Super Bowl, that game is a little different. So if Julian Edelman can do what Wes Welker didn't, this game might look a lot better than what I think it's going to look like.
Okay. Let me ask you a question before I go to my number 2. You get a close game, low scoring, last second stuff. Who you count on?
Who's got the ball?
Seattle.
Curse.
No, you count on Steven Hauschka to win the game.
Oh, the kicker. Okay.
This man can hit him from over 50 yards. Yep. And in Glendale, it's going to be real easy. Because it's going to be nice weather and all that crap.
Yeah,
none of that rain that he deals with in Seattle.
4 foot like they did in the Pro Bowl.
Yeah. None of the rain, none of the bad weather in Seattle. It's going to be 75 degrees. Yeah. Hauschka can hit him from over 55.
Who's your number 1? Who's number 1? I like the Hauschka pick. That's smart.
Okay. My number 1 is Devin McCourty, safety.
Oh, okay. We got safeties. Both of us got safeties at our first pick.
Devin McCourty, if the big thing with the Seattle Seahawks when Russell Wilson gets out of the pocket is what the safeties do. Because if the safeties bite in, then he throws the ball deep. If the safeties don't bite, he runs the ball. Okay? Devin McCourty's got to find that in between to confuse Wilson. And if he confuses him, he can find himself with 1 or even 2 interceptions. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, here's my problem with your pick is McCourty. If he finds that middle, he's got to worry about that guy Luke Wilson. Because that guy Luke Wilson is going to be taking that middle of the field. Okay. So that's what the Seahawks.
That's what the linebackers are for.
Okay, but Luke Wilson matches up very well against the Patriots linebackers. That's what Luke Wilson has been doing to opposing safeties in the previous playoff games. He's been making them make the choice. Sure. You cover me or do you come up? Because if you come up me, we got that touch ball. Mm-hmm. My number 1 is the Seahawks safety Cam Chancellor.
This guy's a star. I don't agree with this.
No,
pick.
You hear about Sherman.
This guy's a star.
Okay, you hear about Sherman. You never hear about
He's the best player
Chancellor
on any other team in the NFL.
Okay.
Defensively.
Okay, but I just got Cam Chancellor because he, as a safety, he's going to have the picks.
Yeah, as he did against frickin' Carolina.
He does.
And Aaron Rodgers.
He does. This is what he does. He reads the quarterback's eyes.
Carolina.
And if you've been watching Tom Brady, he doesn't have receivers he can trust like he had in the past, where he could just, Wes Welker, I know where that dude's at all times.
Sure.
He stares down his receivers now, especially Gronk. And that's where I got Cam Chancellor, because Cam Chancellor is going to be tasked with holding Gronk to 5-yard catches, not 5 yards with 10 after the catch.
And he's going to have to light him up.
Oh, he will. He's a hitter.
No, you're damn right he is. But the point of it is when Gronk catches the ball, he's going to have to know that Chancellor's there. Because if he doesn't know that Chancellor's there and he get a stupid arm tackle or goes after the legs, Gronk can do that shit all day.
Okay. The one thing I want to say about this game before we close this out, somebody who has a chance to validate all previous issues with their career, one guy, his name is Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
Because if he takes this Seahawks team and they win back-to-back Super Bowls, we're talking dynasty. We're talking a young quarterback, okay? He has a chance to erase from your memory all the wrongdoing at USC.
Yeah, him freaking abandoning the team completely during sanctions.
Yeah,
sure.
But he went to a Seahawks team that he's now built to play the way he wants them to play.
And he did it smartly, too, because when he drafted Russell Wilson, because he did draft Russell Wilson.
He had Matt Flynn.
And
then he said, Matt Flynn, you're not good enough.
And Matt Flynn had a shit ton of money thrown towards him.
Yep.
To play for that team. And Matt Flynn wasn't good enough. And he saw that right away. And instead of saying, oh, well, you know, we paid this guy a lot of money, he's got to start, he brought in the rookie 3rd-round draft pick.
Who are the most important players that nobody knows about right now going into this week? The two most important players, one on each team that nobody even knows. Who are the most important players? Nobody's even heard of these people.
Oh, give me one.
Backup quarterbacks for both teams. Who are they?
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Jimmy Garoppolo, because if Tom Brady gets hurt, it's Garoppolo's show.
Yeah, well, Garoppolo is calling the signals, and that's what matters the most right now.
Okay. But if Brady gets hurt, Garoppolo's got to play in a Super Bowl. So who's
Tavarius Jackson?
Tavarius Jackson. The man has NFL experience, and he's pretty much the same quarterback as Russell Wilson.
Don't be hating on Garoppolo now.
I'm hating on Garoppolo because Garoppolo comes in the game. The Seahawks.
He comes from quarterback central in Eastern Illinois.
Listen to me.
Tony
if
Romo,
Garoppolo comes in a game, that defense is going to be. The Patriots are going to be in a Shark Tank, Tony. If the Seahawks lose Russell Wilson, yes, it is a detriment as far as the decision-making skills, but Tavarius Jackson can manage the game with the same style of offense.
Neither of these guys will come out of this game.
I'm just saying. Nobody thinks about the backups.
Yeah.
Nobody thinks about the backups.
And Tom Brady doesn't ever get hurt. That's why
he did 1 year.
He did his backup.
He did 1 year.
Yeah, and it made a case for Matt Castle
who's
to
nowhere.
suck.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Tony Gaglione.
I'm Shawn Adams.
Stay tuned. Next week we'll be here. Have a good one.
Watch the bounce.